Hello, welcome back to all of the Street Fighters. Today we are moving away from the weirdness of Street Fighter the movie and winging our way all the way back to Street Fighter Alpha with Street Fighter Alpha 2, or as it's known in Japan, Street Fighter 02. Street Fighter Alpha 2 was released in 1996 in the arcades, and it is a sequel to Street Fighter Alpha Warrior's Dreams. So, it's a sequel. As we've established, the naming conventions of Street Fighter games is kind of weird, and I've always considered Street Fighter Alpha 2 to be a sequel in the way that Champion Edition and Turbo and Super Street Fighter 2 were to Street Fighter 2, in that it's a evolution. It doesn't completely reinvent the Street Fighter Alpha series. It's got extra characters, it's got extra stages, but it's kind of an addition to Street Fighter Alpha. But as I say, the naming of Street Fighter games is just weird all along. So I guess Street Fighter Alpha 2 works as well as anything else. So as we always do, let's start by looking at the characters and what's new. So this has got all the 13 characters from Street Fighter Alpha. They're still in it, they haven't taken any out. As in Champion Edition and Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 2 has added in the bosses from Street Fighter Alpha. So M. Bison, Akuma and Dan are just part of the main roster. You can pick them right from the off, no cheats, nothing like that. This is, for me, a big addition to Street Fighter Alpha 2 because all three of those characters, Akuma, M. Bison, Dan, they're all really, really solid characters. I love Akuma. I always play Akuma where possible, so it's nice that they're just part of the roster now. In addition to those bosses, there's 5 new characters. Well, not brand new, but there's 5 characters added to the game that weren't in Street Fighter Alpha. So we have Zangief and Dhalsim from Street Fighter 2. We know those, they've been around for ages. Lovely to see them back in a new form, new graphics in the Street Fighter Alpha engine. We've also got Gen, who is from the original Street Fighter, or Fighting Street. We've got Rolento from Final Fight. Rolento is awesome. You'll see him come back in Street Fighter 4 and various other games. He's another character added from Final Fight, and he's super cool. And then we've got Sakura, who is a brand new character, and Sakura's awesome. She's in tons of Street Fighter games going forward. She features in other games. She becomes a real main character of the Street Fighter franchise. She's this schoolgirl, and her story is that she just totally idolises Ryu, and she's got a lot of similar moves. They're not the same. She's got kind of a semi kind of Hadouken thing and a kind of a kick thing that's similar to Ryu's, but she's just totally cool. I love Sakura. Always play Sakura. She's brilliant. So with those new characters comes new stages, new music for them, and obviously new endings and cutscenes and all that. A lot of the sounds and the music on the stages has changed since Street Fighter Alpha, which is an odd change, but a lot of the background music for stages is different. Some of the characters' voices have kind of gone up or down in pitch. There's just these little changes with a lot of the audio, which is quite a notable difference. So as always, Street Fighter Alpha 2 brings a few gameplay changes, a few new mechanics to the series. That's the main thing with every new Street Fighter game. There's always little changes in mechanics and how you play the game, and people have to relearn it if they're serious players on the tournament scene and stuff. So the main new addition in Alpha 2 is the custom combo system. So while you're fighting, if you get your super combo meter up to level 1 or above, at any point then you can press 2 punch buttons and a kick at the same time. So you're pressing 3 buttons, 2 punch buttons and a kick, or 2 kicks and a punch. So any combo of those 3 buttons. And your character all these shadows will appear behind you, and then you've got a few seconds where you can input any basic attack or special move, and it creates a custom combo. And there's a little timer, and when it runs out, that's it. It's like a quick little super combo, but you're creating it yourself, which I think is dead good. So you can just hammer the punch button if you want, or you can chuck a load of Hadoukens in it, or whatever, but you're basically creating your own little special combo, and I think that's quite exciting. The downside of using the custom combo is that it does use up a meter of your super meter. So if you are trying to build it up to stage 3 to get your big combo or whatever, you're using up, every time you use the custom combo feature, you're using up that bar. So it's a trade-off. So the game also features, character-wise, it features Shin Akuma, and this is the first time we see Shin Akuma. He'll appear in other games, right up to the most recent Street Fighter 2 on the Switch. Shin Akuma appear over and over again, and he's basically just a more powerful version of Akuma. He can appear as a secret character, a secret opponent at the end of the game, similar to how Akuma would in Street Fighter Alpha. There's also a alternate version of Chun-Li, who is in a original Street Fighter 2 gear rather than the new costume that she wears in the Street Fighter Alpha series. And then in the US version of the game, and also the European version, there's Evil Ryu, which again is the first time we see Evil Ryu. We'll see him again and again after this. He's an alternate version of Ryu in just the same way that Shin Akuma is an alternate version of Akuma. And then there's also these extra versions of Zangief and Dalsim, who are... it strips out all of the Street Fighter Alpha gameplay mechanics from them, and they just play like they did in Street Fighter 2, which is strange, but it's kind of cool. So they don't have any of the super moves, and they can't do air blocking, and they can't do the custom combos. They just play exactly like they did in Street Fighter 2. So there's various ports of Street Fighter Alpha 2. Most commonly, you'll see the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn versions. The game also made it to the SNES in 1996. So Street Fighter Alpha, the first Street Fighter Alpha game, didn't come to the SNES, didn't come to the Mega Drive, but Street Fighter Alpha 2 did, which possibly shows, how much of a popular game it was. But there are some trade-offs, because the SNES just couldn't handle it, really. It's got some weird loading times before matches, and it's missing some of the hidden characters. It also, strangely, in the American and European versions, it changes Sodom's name to Katana. So, I think there's probably an obvious reason for that, but I don't know, maybe Nintendo stepped in and said, you've got to change that. But only in the European and the North American versions. So he's known as Katana in those. And then there's a few other changes with endings and some of the stages and things, but it's not... It technically performs worse than the PlayStation and Saturn versions, and obviously the arcade version. Just like, it feels like the Super Nintendo wasn't quite powerful enough to run Alpha 2. But still, a very popular version. But if you've got access to the PlayStation or the Sega Saturn, they're definitely superior. So that's Street Fighter Alpha 2, the second Street Fighter Alpha game. There's one more, Street Fighter Alpha 3, which we will be looking at in the future. A lot of people absolutely love Alpha 2. It's a massive improvement over Alpha 1. The custom combo meter really adds another kind of deep mechanic to the game that you can use. The new characters, being able to control Akuma and then Bison right from the start, and then Sakura and Gen and Relento, they're really, really great additions to the roster. So they change up the game quite a lot. I personally love Street Fighter Alpha 2. It's a stone cold classic. I'd urge you to play this. If you've never played any of the Alpha games, if your only experience is with the Street Fighter 2 games or Street Fighter 4 or 5, more recently, go back and try some of the Alpha games. They're proper cool, and they were a big turning point for the series, so I think they're quite exciting. So thank you for joining me again to look at Street Fighter Alpha 2 on all of the Street Fighter. We're looking at almost all the Street Fighters. We are going to miss out a couple of the tiny entries that didn't really change a lot, but as it stands, we're looking to look through almost the entire series from start to end. So I hope you're enjoying it. I'm really enjoying doing it, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye, 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 bye.
Round one, fight! Hadouken! Hadouken! Hadouken!